You're saying, well, how'd that happen? Check it out. Completely broke off. No mount. Looks like they've graded the road. Hey, SoloScout here. Today we are going down to the old rally race spectator area to retrieve my lost ham radio that came off during my Dillard Mill ride. You're saying, well, how'd that happen? Check it out. Completely broke off. No mount left. Just the part that goes on the handlebar. I know you're looking at this little tether here and you're like, well, shouldn't that have hung on to it? Well, yeah, if it had been on there, but of course, me being me, I didn't have this little hand strap on the radio. I know you're all laughing, you know, what a doofus. Well, here's what's even worse. The day before the Dillard Mill ride, dueling moto was over, and we were working on a few projects, and we were looking over his two-way, making sure that it was charging correctly and it was ready to go. And he had the whole box and everything, and it had a hand strap in it, and he said, oh, I never put this on my radio. You put yours on your radio? And I said, oh no, I never put that hand strap on there. It's, you know, that's the old Instamatic camera hand strap, and you don't need that. I don't need that. And then the next day, on the way home from Dillard Mill, I was tired, you know, I didn't make a whole lot of contacts, and I was just cruising along, and I'd been throwing rocks up that were hitting my boots and all that, and then I felt something on the side of my leg, and it was probably 20 seconds. So I went ahead and pulled over on the gravel road up here, and I looked at the bike and checked to make sure everything was there, and you know, I didn't drop anything out of the back because I had my, you know, the HF frequency radio for doing park activations on the back of the bike, so that's what I was concentrating on. Didn't see anything wrong. I just jumped on the bike and went home and put the bike up and turned the lights off, and that was that. And didn't even look at the motorcycle again until Sunday morning to go to church. And I wasn't running behind, but I was on a pretty tight schedule, so you know, I jumped on the bike and took off and went to church, and went out to eat afterwards with one of my daughters and dueling moto. And I was explaining to my daughter how, see, I missed it right there, how I'd forgotten my radio at home. And I pointed over to where the radio goes, and it didn't look right, and I said, what's going on? And then it struck me, there's not even a mount there. The radio just slips down over the mount there, over like this. There we go, look at that. See that? There we go. Squish that together. All right. But anyway, so once I noticed, that your radio is missing, I could go and check to see where its position was, where I'd lost it along the way. Well, I got confused because it was not on the road that I traveled the day that I lost it. I knew that it was Thursday that I lost it because I physically had it on Wednesday when dueling moto was over, so I knew it was, you know, after that. But anyway, I looked, and it was over off of another road, and it was where the Flying W was. So I went over there and got to talk to some people, but they're having a big race, and it's not their responsibility to be available for people that lost their radio on the side of the road. But luckily, Ryan got a hold of me today and asked me, what I was looking for, and he told me give him a little bit to ask around and see if they could find anybody that might have picked it up and turned it into the lost and found. And to be clear, anybody could have picked that up that might have been camping or racing or whatever and didn't have anything to do with any of the staff there. But luckily for me, the off-roading and racing and motor sporting community is generally helpful to each other, as long as they're not raced against you right then and there. And so he called me back and said that he'd been able to locate it and would get it dropped off, since I live just down the road from one of their properties. So big thank you to Ryan and everyone there at Flying W that helped out to get that back to me. It doesn't seem like much. If you've got a 160, 170 bucks laying around, you can just buy another one and be done with it. Sure, but this one has my call sign into it for the beacon, and it has many hours of work of setting it up and getting it to operate correctly when I'm out on the motorcycle. So I tend to take things a little more serious than I should, and I am very pleased to have that back, and we'll definitely have a more secure mount with tether for the next excursion. All my tens and tens of viewers, if you're on Facebook, look up Flying W. We're in Cherryville area of Missouri. I'm in Sligo, but they're listed under Cherryville. So any of you that are on Facebook, stop by there and give Ryan a message or a post or something, and tell him that SoloScout appreciates their efforts greatly. It's a big deal to me. So this is SoloScout. We are RTB. This is SoloScout. I'm Oscar Mike.